I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Because of this, the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words. Because you have committed an offense, may you immediately become a Shudra, devoid of beauty. Therefore, as far as Kirtan is concerned, the Shastra says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. One should chant the glories of the Supreme Lord and the holy name of the Supreme Lord. This is clearly stated. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. One should chant about and glorify Lord Vishnu, not any demigod. Unfortunately, there are foolish persons who invent some process of Kirtan on the basis of demigod's name. This is an offense. Kirtan means glorifying the Supreme Lord, not any demigod. Sometimes people invent Kali Kirtan or Shiva Kirtan, and even big sannyasis in the Mayavada school say that one may chant any name and still get the same result. But here we find that millions and millions of years ago, when Narada Muni was a Gandharva, he neglected the order to glorify the Lord, and being mad in the association of women, he began to chant otherwise. Thus, he was cursed to become a Shudra. His first offense was that he went to join the Sankirtan party in the company of lusty women. And another offense was that he considered ordinary songs like cinema songs and other such songs to be equal to Sankirtan. For this offense, he was punished with becoming a Shudra. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashad Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. This morning we're reading from 7th canto, 15th chapter, verse number 72 and 71 and 72. So this is the wonderful section where Srila Narada Muni is talking about his own story, how he came to Krishna consciousness. It's a very thrilling story for anybody coming to Krishna consciousness. Narada Muni, being very compassionate, he is telling his own story, how he was Gandharva and then he fell to become a Shudra, and then eventually because of getting association of Bhaktivedantas, he again became a Narada Muni. So he is telling his own story. And then after completing his story, then he talks about how anybody can take shelter of the holy name or Vaishnavas and can actually get benefited and attain the highest perfection of life. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that the chanting even householders can very easily attain the ultimate result achieved by persons in renounced order. Maharaj Yashir, I have now explained to you that process of religion. So basically, Narada is glorifying this aspect of pure devotion service, especially the association of devotees and chanting the holy name of the Lord. So because Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling that how can a Yudhishthira, what he says, the word, he uses a word, grihadhi, something. He uses a particular word. Let me see. Graha Mudadi. Which verse it is? 68. Yeah, 68 he says, he talks about himself. He says, I can't see. Okay, Graha Mudadi, correct. You see, Maharaj inquired from Narada, how a Graha Mudadi, a person who is entangled in household life, thus continues to, and who thus continues to remain a fool, can be delivered. So here Narada Muni actually talking about his own self, that how he got delivered. Even though he was a Gandharva, and then he became a Shudra, he got delivered by the association of pure devotees and also by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So this is the context going on. And in today's verse, 71 and 72, Prabhupada mainly talking about that the Sankirtan is especially for chanting the holy name. Sankirtan means it is for Supreme Lord Vishnu. Prabhupada says bhajan. When you say bhajan, bhakti, it is only done for Supreme Lord. It is not done for any demigod. Prabhupada always would quote this. When he lectures also, he says that nowadays they have concocted Kali Kirtan, or they're doing, they say I'm singing bhajan for different demigods, which is not the right thing. So demigods we may worship demigods, somebody may worship demigod, but the bhakti can be done only for the Supreme Lord. So there is a difference between puja and bhakti. So puja can be done for any demigods or any great personality. If you want to do puja, you can do the honoring him, worshipping, whatever. It's not the recommendation of the scriptures, but if somebody is doing, that's called puja. It's not bhakti. Bhakti is only for the Supreme Lord. That is being very nicely clarified by Srila Prabhupada, that it is only for the Supreme Lord. And it's an offense actually. When somebody, says that I'm doing kirtan, and then he has some demigod singing, then actually it's a kind of offense also. So the previous verse, he talks about that how there was a Sankirtan festival to glorify the Supreme Lord. In the assembly of the demigods, and the Gandharvas and Apsaras were invited by Prajapatis to take part in it. And then Prabhupada says how Sankirtan means the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna movement is not a new movement. Why he's telling this point? Because even those, that time, when Narmani was Gandharva, in heavenly planet, even there also Sankirtan festival was organized. So it is not some new cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sankirtan Andolan is not some kind of cult. It is there always. So here Narada Muni also, when he was Upabarna as a Gandharva, he was going to that Sankirtan festival. So then Prabhupada says that Hare Krishna movement is present in every millennium of the Lord Brahma's life. And the holy name is chanted in all the higher planetary systems, including Brahmaloka and Chandraloka, not to speak of Gandharva and Apsaraloka. So everywhere, Lord's holy name is chanted and glorified. The Sankirtan movement that was started in this world 500 years ago. So again, it was started by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is therefore not a new movement. Sometimes because of a bad luck, this movement is stopped. Sometimes there may be some stoppage due to some reasons. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his servants again start the movement for the benefit of the entire world. For the entire world, actually, is written world. For the benefit of the entire world, or indeed the entire universe. So this Sankirtan movement is actually for benefit of the entire universe. So I was just reading Bhagavad Gita chapter. It says among all the sacrifices, the highest sacrifices, chanting the holy name of the Lord. Yagyosmi, Japa Yagyosmi. Yajnanam, Japa Yagyosmi. So, and he says that it is the most easiest and purest. Most easiest and purest holy name. Because holy name can be chanted without any cost. You don't need to have any kind of wealth. You don't need to have any kind of previous qualification. And you don't need to have any kind of elaborate arrangement. You simply need to just chant. So you have a tongue, which is gifted by the Lord, and we have ability to speak. We can simply chant. So in any situations of life, in any condition, without any qualification, without any elaborate any kind of formalities, any rituals, one can simply chant the holy name of the Lord. So most easiest and sublime. And it benefits the individual, and it actually benefits the entire world. Sankirtan Andolan benefits the entire world. It said that the pure duty of the Lord, sitting at one corner of the universe, chanting the holy name of the Lord, the entire universe gets benefited by his sincere chanting the holy name of the Lord. So it is very powerful. Brahmanda Tarite. Hare Ganesh. Hare Ganesh. So anybody who is taking shelter of the holy name of the Lord is actually having the power to deliver the entire universe. Srila Prabhupada is example. Srila Prabhupada, he was simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. I heard in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada would go to Shantipur, and there was a pujari. He would see Srila Prabhupada chanting, probably Prabhupada was one person at that time. He would chant whole day there. And many times he would cry tears in his eyes. Tears would be there, and we just keep chanting very helplessly. And he just, this pujari was observing this, this man comes, middle-aged man, he's just coming and chanting every day and crying tears and like that. So one day he just inquired, why you come every day like this when you chant and you have tears in your eyes? I just want to know. Then he said, my spiritual master has given me impossible mission. My spiritual master has given me impossible mission of taking this holy name all over the world, spreading this Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. So I feel it's impossible for me. Now, how can I do it? Now, I'm so incapable. So I'm simply crying and I'm simply chanting. I'm simply praying that, how could I, fulfill the desire of my spiritual master? And he was chanting. So it is said that two reasons Srila Prabhupada came to the West. One thing was because of the instruction of his spiritual master. And second is his own compassion also. So Srila Prabhupada was crying tears, of compassion for all the living entities when he was sitting, in the Shantipur. But you can see by the influence of one person who took shelter of the Lord in such a powerful way, the whole universe is getting delivered. That's why the devotees glorify saying Prabhupada Jagat Guru. It actually is true, that the entire universe is getting delivered by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So, so this is the glory of Sankirtan movement. And it is not a new movement. It is always being there. Sometimes it may be interrupted because of something, but again, it can be revived. But next 10,000 years, the Sankirtan movement is going to spread. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already predicted. So we were there in the Matchless Gift, 26nd Avenue. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was saying that how this ISKCON has taken birth here. It is the Janmasthali of ISKCON because there Srila Prabhupada officially inaugurated 13 July 1976. He incorporated ISKCON there. And you're saying there was not even one committed for it, not even one initiated. But Prabhupada had the vision that this is going to be the seed for next 10,000 years. And such a small place, such a humble, small place. But you see, that was like a seed. And now you see, there's so many big projects coming up. One of the recent project is, can you guess? One of very big project, recent. Next year probably it's going to get inaugurated. Can you guess? TOEP. It's a powerful project. Srila Prabhupada had the vision. So though it started in a very humble way, but actually that was the foundation, the seed. And it's very special, actually, very, very special. The Sankirtan Andolan, which we are part of it, it's not ordinary at all. It's going to spread all over the world. It's actually spreading all over the world. It's going to benefit the entire universe. That's why he's saying, the servants again start the movement for the benefit of the entire world, or indeed the entire universe. Prabhupada doesn't stop entire world, the entire universe. Because yes, I heard in Mayapur, I heard from some senior devotees, I don't know the references, but they say that in Mayapur, even the great demigods also come and take darshan. And it's true. Wherever the Supreme Lord is there, it's obvious that there will be all the great personalities will come. Okay? When Sukadeva Goswami was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, there all great personalities came from all over the universes. So when the Supreme Lord is giving darshan, we may not be able to access, but all the great personalities of the universes actually come and participate in Sankirtan like that. So whenever there is Lord's Sankirtan is going on, that time all his eternal associates also are there, present. Because Prabhupada says the king is never alone. He's always with all his entourage and everybody associates. So everybody is there in that. So imagine in Sankirtan Andolan, and even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, many of the great personalities, they actually came down to take part in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Andolan. So it's a very, very powerful mission. Prabhupada was saying this point also. I was reading yesterday, I think, lecture. Prabhupada says the kids taking birth in our Hare Krishna families, the devotees' family, they're not ordinary. They are actually have done their previous bhakti, the bhakti in the previous life, and they have, wherever they have stopped, again they're resuming. How Srila Prabhupada says about the kids born in devotees' family. So one should not see the kids born in devotees' family as an ordinary. So nothing is ordinary about our Sankirtan Andolan. Prabhupada has told it many times. So anybody coming to our Sankirtan movement is not an ordinary soul. It's a very great soul. We may not know. So same way the kids born in devotees' family are not ordinary. They're very, very great souls, like that. So we have to take best care of every member of our ISKCON because they are the people who are they are chosen by Lord Chaitanya to spread this movement all over the world and the entire universe. And then here he's saying about being invited to that festival. I also joined and surrounded by women. I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Now what happened? It was a Sankirtan festival. It was supposed to be, it was meant for glorification of the Supreme Lord. But then Narad got, Upabarna got carried away. So one of the reasons because of which he got carried away was also mentioned in the purport of the rights. What he says, we can get some water there. Really try. So it says there is no bottle, I think. I will look at it. You may not know. So it is not there. So he says the reason, what he says here is, he says that he neglected the order to glorify the Lord, and being mad in the association of women, he began to chant otherwise. So this is one reason he mentions that because he was associating with those women, so that's why he got mad and got distracted. So this is one of the instructions which Shastras always talk about and warn us that woman is also called Pramada. In third canto, Kapil Muni says that. So one should know that he says that the form of is a very most powerful form of Maya, the form of woman, like that. And Prabhupada, of course, clarifies for women it is man also, and now Prabhupada clarifies. And how for women also, the man is the form of Maya, and because he thinks he's going to be my shelter, he's going to provide me so many things, he will satisfy my desire. So that way the woman also falls in trap. But so that way, Prabhupada makes that warning. So that's why you can see that the spiritual subject matter sometimes becomes very difficult to hold when somebody doesn't follow these principles what Shastras are telling in terms of having the restrictions in the association of the opposite sex. So for any sadhaka to associate with women for some gratification is actually restricted. Why? Because that creates some kind of madness, and one can get easily distracted. So it is warning again and again, time and again mentioned. So even though Upabarna, though he was a Gandharva, and he was having attractive body features, is mentioned in the previous verses, and because of that association of women, he was surrounded by women. Though he went for Sankirtan festival, it was not some kind of honorary event, Sankirtan festival. But because this aspect, he was a bit neglectful. In fact, when because of that woman association, he got so neglectful that he forgot that he has come for Sankirtan festival. And he started glorifying the demigods, because one goes into impressing Jew like that. So you can see another episode of now Narada Muni was Narada Muni, not Upaparna, he's a Narada Muni now. Nal Kuvera Manigrid. They were also surrounded by women, they're intoxicated. And even they also neglected to offer respect to Narada Muni there, you can see. So again, the same thing you can see, because they were affected by the association with the women there, and they got maddened, intoxicated, and they also failed to offer respect to Narada Muni, like that. And we also see that how when Indra also, when he was also in the heavenly planet, and he was also enjoying, and there were apsaras dancing and all that. So when Indra also, because of being absorbed in that kind of Bhoga and Ashwarya, when you can see there also he became neglectful to offer respect to Brihaspati. He just neglected actually. There was the offense of negligence. So there also the offense happened. So you can see that this is one thing which Shastras again warn us that it can distract us from the path of devotion. One has to be cautious of that. So unnecessary association of women should be avoided. Only for the sake of service, business like Radheshanko says, business like only for the service, so the sake of service, that's good. But unnecessary association of opposite sex is not very much appreciated. So especially if somebody is serious about making advancement in Krishna consciousness, this aspect should not be neglected. Nishkinchananam Bhagavad Bhajanam Param Param Jigimishor Bhavasagarasya Sandarshanam Vishayna Athayashatam Cha Hahant Hanta Vishbhachana Thupya Sadhu. Says that anybody who is desiring to make advancement in spiritual life, he should, so if he is mixing with those who are sense gratified, the mad after sense gratification and mad after women, and association of women for the similar reason for sense gratification, is like drinking the poison willingly. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also warned us. So one should be very, very cautious because it can become a distraction. So we have to guard ourselves against this tendency, because there is a strong, deeper tendency in the conditioned soul to to impress the opposite sex. That's a strong, deep-rooted tendency is there. It comes out in so many ways. Can come out in a gross way of just trying to associate with opposite sex. It may come in terms of, in terms of impressing by someone's influence or things like that. So it can come in different ways. So it's that's why it is always, a very Kamarupena concept. So it manifests, different ways. So that's why one should be cautious about this point, this aspect, because we want to focus on its devotional service. That's the main purpose. So Prabhupada always said, women are not bad, men are not bad. We are not here to condemn anyone, because everybody is qualified to make advancement in Krishna consciousness, and everybody should be respected, as a Vaishnava, as a Vaishnavi. That's the mood Srila Prabhupada taught us. But even while having that mood, one should be cautious. One should be having that caution, because we are still, not beyond modes. We are still, within the modes of material nature are acting. The degree we are engaging in devotional service, we are free from that mode. But it's just next layer. If we become callous, if we are not cautious, then again, we can get carried away. Like that. That's why one has to be very, very cautious about this aspect. Any restriction in terms of opposite sex like that. So, so there are different levels. One can see. The woman who Prabhupada was mentioning I was hearing Chatan Chantu was mentioning in this class. He said the very animalistic people, those have no culture. So they will just see women as an object of environment. You can see in the college, hospitals, like that, boys. Generally, what they will talk about. They have only mainly two subject matters. Whether they will talk about opposite sex, women, or they will talk about money in terms of what job. So this is the main topic, what they will have. So they are like gross animalistic, non-cultured. They will not have proper culture. So they are like animalistic life, where they see women as an object of enjoyment. But then, in a cultured society, in a human society, when those are dharmic people, that the dharma begins when you start seeing women as mother. Matvat Vardareshu. So that is the aspect which the dharmic people will have. They see women as mother. And in Vaishnava circle, the woman is seen as a Vaishnavi. She is also a devotee of the Lord. Of course, woman, but she also, of course, mother, which one can see, but also she is a Vaishnavi. She is also very special in terms of, because she is engaging in devotional service of the Lord. So that's why one should be careful not to, out of aversion or something, offend. So one should not offend him. So because he is a Vaishnavi. So we have to be very, very careful. We cannot offend any jiva. So what to speak of Vaishnava, Vaishnavi, like that. So that's a perspective, in devotional culture we have. So Vaishnavi, engaged in devotional service of the Lord, like that. And the highest aspect, when the pure devotee, he sees only the soul who is the associate of the Lord, like the gopis, gopas, like that. So that is the vision of the pure devotee. They don't see even any kind of bodily identities. They only see that it is eternal associate with the Lord. That's how the pure vision is of pure devotees. But Shastras give the bani, even though in a Vaishnava circle, we are given the vision, we have the perspective to see women and respect the woman as mother and Vaishnavi. At the same time, there are so many warnings given in the Shastras. Though it may be apparently Gyanis may too much emphasize on that. So the Prabhupada says that in Vaishnava circle, we are not like that Gyanis. Those are two of us. They just can't stay in the vicinity of women, like that some of the Gyanis they practice. So that's not the way Srila Prabhupada taught us. So we are here to focus on our devotional service, and it's not that we want to abandon that there cannot be women in the temple or things like that. That's not the point. That's not the thing what Prabhupada, like once they complained that they said, Prabhupada, there's some devotees in the temple, those who live in the temple, they feel disturbed because they're women. Prabhupada said, better they go to jungle. And they go to jungle then. Prabhupada said that. So, the point is that in the path of devotional service, the entire mood is of focusing on the devotional service and respecting each and every devotee. At the same time, there is some caution. There's a caution. So yes, the Gyanis, for them, their main weapon is that seeing women as an object of danger. I forgot to tell that. So animalistic, and then there is a Gyani vision also. Gyani vision means they see women as an object of danger. the woman in danger, like that. So they will see like that. But in a dharmic society, it is more like a mother, and Vaishnava society, Vaishnavi. So this Jnani, they too much emphasis upon this aspect of woman as an object of danger, like that they will say. So we don't just completely get into extreme of that. Yes, but there is an underlying understanding. Yes, the danger, because we have this still tendency to enjoy, tendency to gratify. Some gratification is there. The disease is still there. It's not completely gone. So one should be cautious also, because one cannot be careless or casual about it. That's why these etiquettes are very important. That's why he says here, etiquette. If you remember, he says, what is it? Somewhere etiquette point came. Where it came? I think previous verse it says. Anyway, he broke the etiquette. First thing he did what? He first offense he joined the Sankirtan party in the company of lusty women, and second offense he was singing the ordinary cinema songs. He started doing that, so that became a problem. So many cantos and so many chapters we find they talk also about this aspect of that, how women can be obstacle in the path of devotional service. Or even same thing for women, men also. Basically, the tendency to gratify, the tendency to enjoy, that can become an obstacle. So that aspect, even though we are practicing devotee, we are having a mood of devotion, we have positive focus on devotion service, and we respect devotees, like as Vaishnavis, as Vaishnavas. Even then also, that caution is always there. That is, that has to be removed. Right? It should not be neglected. The caution is just not neglected. That. So. Because even though no matter how much advanced one is in the devotional path, one has to be fearful of Maya. It's always there. So, and when we are having healthy fear of Maya, then we will take constant shelter of Krishna also. So that's how Srila Prabhupada taught us. Prabhupada said that because I'm always praying like this, so I can confidently say that Maya cannot touch me. So that aspect is there. So when we take the shelter of the Lord, and that way one is cautious. So that caution is always there. So till we go back to Godhead, the caution is always there, because we can always trace back. So Prabhupada writes in first canto, even great stalwarts have retreated back from the path of self-realization because of the obstacle of money and women. So again, when woman is served, it's both ways. It can be both ways. Basically, for man, woman, for woman, man, it can be like that. So one has to be very, very cautious about this point, like that. And in devotee circle also, like when we have the Sankirtan festival and all, like I heard Gorgovind Maharaj was saying once that the Kirtan was going on, but there were some young boys and some young girls dancing to and fro and all that. And the young boys are simply trying to sing the holy name, but simply to impress those gurus. So Maharaj says this kind of Kirtan is actually Kali Kirtan, not Kali Kirtan, Kali Kirtan. Kali Kirtan. So be cautious that sometimes this kind of mood, like once I think Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj came to Pune, and then he was not happy with the Kirtan. So he told Radheshyam, devotees are getting into too much of fancy things, trying to sing very fancy tunes and all that. I feel there is some kind of lackiness in the mood. So Radheshyam corrected all about that. We are really cautious. We are doing Kirtan. So you should not just go in some playful mode too much. Yeah, we can have some kind of festivity. That's good. But we should know that the Sankirtan is meant for the pleasure of the Lord, for the glorification. So we should not forget it. So sometimes we get carried away. We get carried away. That's why this kind of thing can be dangerous. Like, Upabarna was with so much of women surrounded, so he got carried away. So instead of glorifying the Supreme Lord, he started glorifying demigods, singing demigod kirtan. But what can happen, sometimes devotees, they may not start singing demigod kirtan, but they may be doing kirtan, singing apparently holy name of the Lord, but there can be kind of more attitude of impressing the opposite sex rather than pleasing the Supreme Lord. So we all have to be cautious of that point, like that. That's why you see the great souls, for them it doesn't matter which tunes, what kind of musical instruments, what style where you are dancing and all that. What matters to them is, are you offering your love and devotion to Krishna? And just by hearing the pure sound vibration uttered by those sincere devotees, one can get purified. Because Kirtan is actually meant for the glory of the Lord, and somebody does it sincerely, any sincere good devotee does it, it is going to purify the heart like that. So that's why Gaurav Maharaj cautioned us. Don't do this Kali Kirtan. Do Krishna Kirtan. That means sing for the pleasure of the Lord. Sing for the pleasure of the Lord and devotees. That should be the mood. You should not get distracted like that. So, and Bhogeshwari Prasakta Nam, that so distraction happens because when we get into enjoying mode. And the enjoying mode becomes very prominent, especially in the association of opposite sex. That's why one gets into enjoying mode, in impressing mode, that becomes, and it's a disease. That's a disease. Actually, people may not tell us, but that's how we have to take responsibility of our own heart. That we safeguard ourselves from these tendencies like that. That's why it is said, honest avoidance of opposite sex, honest avoidance. That means one should be cautious, one should be careful that unnecessarily unrestricted association of women should be avoided. Like, and there is a respectful distance. What is respectful distance? That means it's not aversion, it's respect. So that distance is respect. So when we have respect and we have proper mood, then there is automatic respectful distance. So the proper mood should be there. So the mood of respect. Why we respect? Because so many reasons, as I already mentioned, they are part and parcel of Krishna, they are devotees. So respect is obvious. Respect of mother, respect of a Vaishnavi, respect of a pure soul. There's so many reasons to respect. So where is the question of exploitative attitude? So that's the Shastra teaching. So eventually a devotee, as he makes advancement, this mood becomes very prominent. So that way he starts, when that respect is there, then automatically there is a distance also. The respectful distance also will be there. Then it becomes more easy for one to not have unnecessary association of opposite sex. It becomes more automatic. Only for the sake of service and all that will be that kind of thing. Some kind of association, some kind of dealings may be there, but not unrestricted that way. But when we have not proper mood, then to have that restriction also becomes very challenging. Then there will not be proper respect, and then there won't be proper distance also. Then there will be unnecessary association. And then what happens? Then one gets distracted. So it is danger for both man and woman. So both they have to be careful. This point that we keep a respectful distance. So same the women also should be respectful towards the Vaishnavas, the devotees. So where the respect is there, then automatically there will be distance. So that's why respectful distance. But the distance what is talking about is actually respect, not aversion, not distance due to aversion, because distance due to aversion leads to offense. Then you may commit offenses. So that is not good. So that has to be respect. Like that. And when the respect is there, then the dealings are appropriate. In that case, one can deal, but we will deal only for the sake of centered around Krishna, for the service of the Lord. So that way it will be proper. It won't be offensive. So Prabhupada did allow, the man and woman in Krishna consciousness, cooperatively work together and propagate Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada empowered women also to distribute books. They can also coordinate festivals. They can also manage kitchen. They can do pujari services. Prabhupada gives full facility for everyone to completely engage in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada allowed men and women to work together cooperatively, but keeping all these principles in mind. One should not forget the essential principles what we just discussed today. So yes, we all are here, without any discrimination, without any differences, in a cooperative mood. We are here to serve the Lord. Our goal is that at the same time, we have to know this intricate details of the principles which Shastras are teaching us and warning us about. We have to be also equally cautious about it. That one shouldn't take advantage of this kind of encouragement of working cooperatively together and all. One should not take advantage. One should be cautious. It's important. So because just like somebody gets a post, so he may get facilities. So if one wants to take advantage, he can take advantage. But if he's honest, then he can use that in Krishna. So yes, so we have to be honest and sincere in terms of focusing on our devotions and keeping in mind all these principles. So yeah, so I think I'm good with this. This pause here. So these two offenses. One thing is offense was to join Sankirtan party in the company of lusty women, and second offense was he considered ordinary songs like cinema songs equal to Sankirtan. That was, and that's why he was punished. When he became Shudra, and the next life, when he became Shudra, he got association of pure devotees. And because of that, he heard so much of holy name and holy fame of the Lord, and he became Narada. And then he concludes later, next verses, that how by taking shelter of the Lord and holy name, holy fame of the Lord, anybody, whether it is woman or Shudra or Loban, anybody can become the perfect person by chanting the Lord. So that way it is, Nagari concludes that way. The next was also very beautiful, talks about how just by taking association of devotees, one can completely get transformed like that. So we have so much opportunity. We have so much of association of devotees is there. But only thing is that we have to be a bit cautious and careful, do not get distracted. That's the only caution we have. Just imagine when we come to Sankirtan festival, how much, if Narada Muni, if Upabarna would have been focused on Sankirtan festival, probably would have gone back to Godhead that life only. Would have become Narada Muni that life only. Probably. Imagine, like when he came for that Sankirtan festival was going, correct? He would have got absorbed in Sankirtan, probably he would have become Narada Muni with that life itself. But because of this distraction, he went there, and surrounded with lusty women, and so center was not Krishna. Center became Sandhya Krishna, and that became the cause of becoming Shudra. And then, of course, he got association devotee. Then he became Narada Muni again. But the distraction, took a toll, and it took him some more life. So that's why you have to be cautious. In case of Bharat Maharaj, it came in different way. He became attached to deer, like that. That's another distraction. There it came. So that kind of distraction can. So one should be cautious also. We have time to focus on devotion. And especially for the women in terms of opposite sex, a lot of warning is given because this is one of the very, very pivotal point of attraction in this material world. Papa says, this is called Mathunagar. The whole world is revolving around this attraction for opposite sex. So this is it's a shackles. There are shackles which bind the conditions in the material world. So these are the eternal truths. So one should be aware of it. One should be cautious of it. One should not neglect it. One should know that the other scriptures are talking about it. And also I told the other side, another aspect, that how in Krishna consciousness we have to work with proper mood and with that proper spirit, proper cooperative spirit, without offending, without having aversion, seeing them with proper vision of Vaishnava and Vaishnavi. That also we discussed. So both aspects. Let us pause here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If any comment or questions, any correction? Muktan, do you want to say? I spoke in English. He says which language you were speaking.
Balanced Krishna consciousness. So, yesterday we did not have a class, so I think
So you spoke on the previous.
Yeah,
I spoke for both. I took both because he was not sure.
Okay, nobody was there because I was the only one, and then there were a couple of people. Anyway, so I think the most important point what we understand from that, which the Prabhupada also mentions here, in the talk of the see that we might be in safety situation, or we might be, in some place or in a clear state. There is always a danger. This is what we are. And the Prabhupada also mentioned that Narmini, when he was there, there are actually very many lessons for him. So what happens is that when we have this tendency of enjoyment, when we have this must be life, then what happens? Our intelligence gets changed, and we tend to make mistakes and offenses. This is what we understand from this episode. And also another thing is that the curse is from the from great source. The great soul. It's
Always
always going to be
Blessings.
blessings to you. Narmani,
Plus money grow.
and you are also Prajapati. You know, see, another point you were talking about is that, see, whenever this is most of we have to understand that if the same attitude it was done by any Shudra or any any family person or anyone who's in the road state, if you have done it, yeah, you wouldn't have done it. I mean, if you see any case of the Murdari, okay. So it is offensive, he did not take it as an offense. He knew that because he was that way. And also when the one that he was for him also he did not take it to. He was compassionate to it. But when it came to like Narmani or because he was Governor was Gandhara and Narmani was never here. When you have position, when you are when you hold certain status, you're supposed to behave in a positive cooperative. And if you don't, then there are repercussions. We have to understand it. We can't say that, oh, I'm sorry. So negligence is not an excuse. We have to understand that we have to pay the price for that. That's why we have to be very careful. When we hold, for instance, if we are initiative, if we are on a certain practice, then we have to know for sure that just being negligent doesn't mean you're sorry for you. You cannot say it. You have to be on because you've taken law. You're supposed to be here in certain way. You cannot say that just by just mere sorry word. Because there is a price you have to pay. That's why it's so very, very important to understand. Even if you're not a millionaire, because he was under one, that's why we have to pay the first time. You have to pay, you have to go, and then you show by the example to everyone that way. It's not, they would have said, no, fine, you made a mistake, no problem. Next time you will pay. They wanted to make sure that a proper message should be going to everyone. That's why they gave me because that's what you do. We are like that. Otherwise, what will happen? The same culture will prevail in the way. And everything will have that. They made sure that this has to be. And that's why, so it's not that it's a dictator mentality, dictatorship mentality. It is that to make sure that there is a proper code of conduct and also the devotional service. Like the devotional etiquettes which are everyone that should be that should prevail or that should exist in the society. That is why they actually reprimand with some harsh consequences. It's not that they are callous or cruel. It's just to make sure. Otherwise, in the society, everyone will start, only chaos will be. You have to understand this is not many, but you are sure. And so the problem is in the history of that since he came down to Shudra, he became a Shudra. Actually, he's more fortunate than even Gandharva past. So he got associated. And Gandharva, because what happens, there is with the culture of enjoyment. Correct. No, not as because here the intensity is here the intensity and the activity. So that's why the one mentioning that is more possible.
So Lord takes forward the Jiva.
Yeah, I mean what you said is right, but I'm just my comment.
Yeah. Thank you so much.